Well, hello everyone, this is CJ with Cycletron. Well, you've heard me talk in past videos about how Harley Davidson wants to become a luxury brand. That's something their German-born CEO Jochen Zeitz, when he's with Puma, he's all about upscale marketing, trying to create exclusivity through limited productions, limited releases, a variety of marketing tactics, and he wants to do the same thing with Harley Davidson. So to that end, Harley Davidson is getting ready to launch their fashion line HD collection. So they're not content to merely aspire to being a luxury brand. Now they want to be a fashion brand. I don't know if any of you have ever come across a Gucci store in a mall, say in Las Vegas, or seen it online, but they sell what looks like a regular t-shirt, just a little cotton t-shirt with some kind of logo or simple print, and they sell these t-shirts for like $600–700. That's what Harley wants to do. So this magazine GQ, I've seen it in bookstores and things like that. I don't think I've ever bought that. I don't need tips on men's makeup or nail polish, so I'm not buying this magazine. But they really go off the deep end. They're really excited, apparently, about Harley Davidson's new fashion line. And they point out that Harley Davidson has a new position that they established last year, and that is of creative director. And they hired this person with a fashion background, this Louise Golden, who's London-born, New York-based, and her previous claim to fame was designing the Kanye West or the Yeezy line of apparel. And I don't know if you've heard the news, that hasn't gone too well for the likes of Nike and others. So at any rate, she's with Harley Davidson now, and she spends her time in the design studio. And apparently she doesn't have any type of motorcycle background, which is becoming more and more common with people in senior positions at Harley Davidson. It's about the image. It's about trying to create an aspirational brand. It's not about motorcycle culture per se. So she admits that she doesn't have a motorcycle background. So she went to Sturgis last year, much as an anthropologist would go to the Amazon rainforest to observe a native tribe in their natural habitat. She saw fit to go to Sturgis to understand biker culture. So with her newfound knowledge, she came back to her studio and is designing apparel. You can apparently buy one of these new leather jackets, and they go up in price to around $1,500. And keep in mind, these are fashion jackets. These aren't motorcycle jackets designed for riding with elbow, shoulder protection, back protection, things like that. It's just for looks. And if you read these articles by GQ and others, they just go completely off the deep end. They talk about her job is to add a more modern layer of sophistication to the offerings, to make sure that the next time you think of the brand, you might picture something a bit more fashion forward than, say, a t-shirt with a screaming eagle on it. You can't make this stuff up. Well, apparently somebody did. This article is just outrageous. And I'm quoting here, "If normal Harley leather jackets channel a somewhat dated American soulfulness, these pieces are drenched with a modern, almost kinky attitude like what a current-day Robert Mapplethorpe would wear to an underground techno club, which is how many young fashion fans whose wardrobes incorporate luxury fashion, streetwear, and vintage like to dress today." Wow, that's a bizarre comparison. I guess referencing the Village People's passe, I guess. So you look at this, not your typical Harley rider. Apparently, they were going for pop star status, and they readily admit that the people they're trying to appeal to don't come from a riding background and will likely never buy a motorcycle. So to a large degree, this kind of fits in with another idea I've had about Harley, and that is they're preparing themselves to be a post-motorcycle brand. If you look at the aging demographic that you've heard a million times with the baby boomers, and they're retiring or worse, not in a position to continue buying motorcycles, that's for sure, particularly very expensive Harley Davidson motorcycles. So what to do? You could introduce lower cost, more entry-level models, but the profit margins aren't great enough for Harley to do that apparently. So it just seems if their electric play doesn't pan out for them, which is a strong likelihood that it won't, the way things are going with their Livewire division, which Harley owns about 90% of that company, that they're going to find themselves in a few years making all their money off of product licensing and apparel. All this apparel too is made overseas. If you've been to a Harley store lately, it's made in China, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Vietnam. The days of American-made apparel being sold at a Harley shop are long gone. So what do you think about this? I think, they're kind of thumbing their nose at their traditional customer, which, okay, they're making a business decision. I mean, that's really not their future. But, I thought Harley Davidson was, they aspired to be one of these woke corporations, which I'm not a fan of at all. But, isn't that some form of cultural appropriation, sending somebody to Sturgis to see what the culture is all about, what the lifestyle is all about? It's not organic, and certainly they can't really talk to other people in management positions because, by and large, they don't have a motorcycle background either. So it's a sign that this company has chosen a different direction. Many would say they've lost their way. That's entirely possible. I've made similar comments on other business decisions that they've made. But yeah, it's doesn't really bode well for the future if they're basically trying to market to people who have never and will likely never themselves buy a motorcycle. So it's all about the look, the rebel attitude. Harley's appropriated the image of the one percenter motorcycle clubs and the custom motorcycle scene. They shamelessly appropriated those images and incorporated it into their marketing. And of course, there's some negatives that go along with such an approach, and a lot of people don't like that association. Well, how many people do you think like to associate Harley Davidson with Robert Mapplethorpe? I'm not going to get into this guy anymore. I mean, he's long been deceased, and to say he was a controversial figure would be an understatement in the art and fashion and photography world. But yeah, not a fan of GQ, not a fan of Robert Mapplethorpe, not a fan of Harley Davidson going down this road. I mean, if you look at their playlist or their band list for their 120th anniversary celebration this year in Milwaukee, I mean, it's like a who's who of anti-American sentiment relative to statements that many of these band members have made. So that's what I have for you today. Please let me know your comments down below, and please stay tuned for future videos. Thanks very much.